In today's world, a growing number of people are struggling to afford the lifestyles they want. From young professionals just starting their careers to older generations looking to retire, many are facing the harsh reality of financial instability. The cost of living continues to rise, and wages simply aren't keeping up. The alarming statistics on this issue paint a troubling picture of the financial pressures many people face daily. One of the most eye-catching statistics is the rising cost of housing. In many cities, rent has skyrocketed, and home prices are out of reach for a large portion of the population. A report by Zillow found that home prices have increased by over 30% in just a few years in many major urban centers. This surge has forced many to spend more than half of their income on housing alone. The situation is even worse for renters, with rising rental prices making it increasingly difficult for people to find affordable places to live. In fact, about 1 in 3 renters in the U.S. spends more than 30% of their income on rent, with many spending even more. Wages, on the other hand, have remained relatively stagnant. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median household income in the United States has barely increased over the past decade when adjusted for inflation. While inflation continues to climb, wages remain sluggish, making it harder for individuals to maintain their desired lifestyles. People are finding themselves working longer hours or even taking on second jobs just to keep up with the increasing costs of essentials like rent, food, and utilities. Food prices have also been steadily increasing. The cost of groceries has been rising, with certain staples like meat and dairy seeing a significant hike. In 2023 alone, the price of eggs surged by 70%, and other food items like meat, fruits, and vegetables have also become more expensive. This increase is having a direct impact on the average person's ability to afford a balanced diet. The USDA's Food Insecurity Report revealed that nearly 40 million Americans faced hunger in 2022, a staggering figure that reflects the growing financial divide. Transportation is another area where people are feeling the pinch. With rising fuel prices and the high cost of car ownership, many are being forced to make difficult choices. Some are delaying or foregoing necessary car repairs, while others are relying on public transportation, even though it may not be available or convenient in all areas. In urban areas, the cost of public transportation has also been rising, further exacerbating the financial strain. For those who rely on personal vehicles, car payments, insurance, and maintenance can easily take up a significant portion of their monthly budget. Student loan debt is another major issue that is contributing to the financial struggles of many people. In the United States, student loan debt has reached over $1.7 trillion, and the burden of repaying these loans often prevents individuals from achieving financial independence. Graduates are entering the workforce with mountains of debt, making it difficult to save for the future, buy a home, or even live paycheck to paycheck without the constant worry of student loan payments looming over them. Healthcare costs are also a huge financial burden for many people. Even for those with insurance, out-of-pocket costs for medical care can be overwhelming. Prescription medications, doctor visits, and emergency room trips can add up quickly, forcing people to make difficult decisions about their health. The high cost of health care is one of the main reasons why people are choosing not to seek medical care when they need it, further exacerbating their health problems down the line. For those without insurance, the situation is even worse, as medical bills can quickly become unaffordable, leading many to go without necessary treatments. Despite these growing financial pressures, many people are still managing to maintain their lifestyles, often by relying on credit cards, personal loans, and other forms of debt. In fact, consumer debt has reached an all-time high, with Americans carrying more than $16 trillion in debt as of 2023.
The average American household carries credit card debt of over $7,000, and many are living paycheck to paycheck just to make ends meet. For those with multiple forms of debt, it can feel like a never-ending cycle of borrowing and repayment. The rise of buy now, pay later services has also contributed to the increasing debt levels. These services allow people to make purchases and pay them off over time, but they often come with high interest rates and fees. Many people are turning to these services to afford items they need or want, leading to an accumulation of debt that can become difficult to manage. In some cases, people are taking out loans to pay off other loans, creating a vicious cycle that is hard to escape. While some people are managing to keep up with their lifestyles, the majority are finding themselves in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and constantly worried about their financial future. The stress of living with financial uncertainty is taking a toll on people's mental health, with many experiencing anxiety, depression, and other related issues. This financial strain is particularly difficult for those who are already struggling with health issues, family responsibilities, or other stressors. So how are people affording their lifestyles? The simple answer is that they are relying on credit, debt, and loans to keep up with rising costs. However, this is not a sustainable solution. As debt continues to rise and wages fail to keep up with inflation, many people will eventually reach a breaking point.
The system is becoming increasingly unsustainable, and the financial pressures facing ordinary people are only growing. The alarming statistics are a wake-up call. The cost of living is rising faster than ever, and many people are simply unable to keep up. This is a problem that affects individuals across all demographics, from young adults trying to establish their careers to older retirees who have spent decades saving for their golden years. The financial strain doesn't discriminate. It affects people of all ages, backgrounds, and income levels. In fact, some of the most concerning trends are seen in younger generations who are entering the workforce with enormous student debt and the added burden of soaring housing costs. But it doesn't stop there. Older individuals, many of whom are on fixed incomes, are also feeling the pressure as medical bills, property taxes, and other essentials continue to rise. The gap between income and expenses continues to grow wider, making it increasingly difficult for people to maintain their quality of life. Wages have failed to keep pace with inflation, and in many cases, salaries are stagnating, while the cost of basic necessities like food, housing, and transportation continues to climb. The average American worker today has less purchasing power than they did decades ago. And this is a trend seen not only in the United States, but globally in many developed nations. Essential services, such as healthcare and education, have become increasingly expensive, adding even more strain to people's budgets. For many, this means dipping into savings or resorting to loans and credit cards just to cover the basics, creating a vicious cycle of debt that's hard to escape from.